Welcome to the Womb and Birth podcast, where we discuss and find and hunt down birth culture as we know it and as we feel it inside. I'm Melissa Chin Casey. I'm your host, and I'm also a midwife and a mother, and other things as well. But today I'm just your guide as we discover and meet people who are living their truth, birthing in their truth, and forging their own paths to what to the right birth for them, and living life as it comes. And in doing so, they're creating their own birth culture and impacting, shaping the world. So, on today's journey, I want to talk about the people that I'm going to be interviewing. So, I'm going to have two sets of interviews. Actually, there's going to be three different projects, but video projects, but two of them will be interview style. So the first one is I'm going to be interviewing people who have unique experiences and insights. I don't want to say unique, everyday experiences and insights into what their birth and reproductive journey has been like. So these are real people, real women, real men who are going to be sharing with us what they learned through their birth journey, how their experiences have shaped them, their triumphs, their moments of vulnerability, and what they wished they would have known and what they gained from it. So that's project number one. Project number two, I'm going to be interviewing experts in the birth field and the womb field and learning their journeys, learning what they've learned from working directly with people through their reproductive processes, and how their culture has influenced them and shaped them, and how they shape and influence birth culture, and how the people they serve has shaped and influenced birth culture. So for my first project, I have a few people in mind that I want to interview. The first person, her name is Carolyn. She's a Haitian woman, and I don't know if she identifies as also an African woman, but that's something we get to ask her. And what strikes me, what really, really I love about Carolyn is that she is such a positive and vibrant person, and she really embraces who she is unapologetically while being so positive and outspoken at the same time. So she's a really unique and beautiful person, and she has a one daughter. She did have a home birth with the support of a midwife. She had some interesting family stuff that comes up, as they always do in birth. Because when you are having a baby, you're bringing a human into the world, but you're also bringing a human into your family. So that dynamic overlaps so much, and there's so many lessons in individuation and strength of the individual, of the birthing parent, and balancing the family and how this child affects the family and its place in the family, and how part of the child not belongs to the family in the sense of it has to be that way, but does belong to the story of the family and the ancestral story, the lineage. So I would love to interview her. Another person I'd love to interview is Miss Maria, who is just a beautiful, sweet, delicate soul, refreshing, like a breath of fresh air. And she's had 2 babies in the hospital, brought beautiful babies into the world. in a very beautiful way. And then she had her last baby at home. And the differences and what she's learned through those experiences. And what's beautiful about Maria is it took her a long time to come to wanting to do a home birth and deciding to do a home birth. And she was very much for hospital birth. And she has some interesting tidbits to share on the way. And the next person is Drew, who is a mama who had 2 babies at home and then had her last baby in the hospital and planned it that way. And we will hear how she created a hospital birth that felt like something that was very, that she was very much, that's centered around her, really centered around her. Because, as a midwife, my personal view is you should have your baby anywhere that you want to. At the same time, it's kind of hard in some locations, cities, hospitals, to get the birth that you want, even though you want to be in the hospital, to get treated the way that you want, even though you do want to be in the hospital. So sometimes it's a challenge and a struggle. No, not a struggle. It's a challenge and a journey to have the birth that you want in the place that you want. And it's, it takes a lot of inner work and outer work. So hopefully we'll meet Drew. Another person I would love to interview, their name is Abby. I apologize. But what's interesting about Abby is that they are both a midwife and they are both a parent. And their interviews would actually fall under both categories, but I'd like to interview them twice. Once on the side of the experience of the parent, and once on the side of the experience of the caregiver. And as someone who works in the birth field and understands how to navigate the birth culture. But as a trans person in the community, I would love to hear their experiences and what they bring to birth culture and how they navigate what's important to them, how they navigate how society influences them and the effect on them, and how becoming a parent has brought them to a deeper level of understanding of themselves, what gifts becoming a parent has brought. So those are my first 4 interviews. It'll be fun. And it'll be an adventure. I will be putting those up on a podcast format for people to listen and learn from. And they'll be shorter. Now, for the